I'm Lindsay and this is another News for You live stream brought to you by Freedom Media WA. In this stream, I'm going to bring you a look at Mark McGowan's last press conference, where mainstream media walking dead at a pre-arranged media, not a huddle, but a cuddle, were asking nothing but softball questions. In that press conference, Mark McGowan said many things, but it's the things that he didn't say that he really is quite telling. And let's have a look at that.
Gowan, how are you feeling for your last day through the house?
Sorry, I'll just put this in park.
Oh, good.
Back up.
I'm good.
Things are good?
Yeah, you know.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, really good. And I think Roger and Rita are terrific. And I think they'll do a great job. And my main emotion, to be honest with you, is just gratitude and thanks for what everyone's done for me and for what the state's done for me. So, and I will always do that.
Any message for West Australians, Premier?
Just thank you.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I saw it.
You've been great to me, and you know, I think the state's in a pretty good place, and we just should continue. And thank you to all you. Thanks to the media. I've got it in park, so you're safe. Although some people might be happy if I ran some of you over.
It's a tell. You gotta tell.
Look, yeah, and thanks to all the media. You know, at times, you know, we've had.
What tell? What's a tell?
When you ask someone about their relationship and they touch their face, you know it's not going too well.
You know, difficult relationships, but thank you to all of you. So you've got a job to do.
Do you have a sense of relief, Premier, now that you've made this decision and had a few days to think about it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I'm you know, still getting used to new life. But you know, all the attention hopefully will go to Roger and Rita and the team.
And the higher up on the face you go, the worse the relationship is getting. You know, it's like, pretty good, not bad, I gotta get out.
Any message for Roger?
Oh, Roger knows what to do.
How high did I go?
You almost hit the nose.
He's very experienced, he's very likeable, very decent man.
What does your immediate future hold, Premier? Do you have a long holiday coming up or straight back into some other line?
I don't have any plans. I'm going to watch some Netflix, you know, do some walking. Our dog's going to get a lot of walking, so I don't have any plans. No. I'm just so grateful. I just want to keep saying it. So grateful for what the state and people have done for me. I have no complaints. At that point in time, I've officially resigned and I am no longer a member of Parliament and I'm just an ordinary person.
Well, are you disappointed about that, not having the chance to say goodbye to Parliament?
I think people have heard enough from me.
Life will become very difficult for the unvaccinated. Hello, my name is Mark McGowan. You can die from the corona or get really sick.
You can pass away from this corona, or you can get really sick one.
We had a staff farewell function, and so all that was great. People have been great. So
You've been, you're a rock star of the state, really. Do you think you can go back to being an ordinary person?
I don't know what they're protesting about.
Give us our jobs back.
We have everyone in work.
Give us our freedom
We are free.
and our choice.
well, I'm going to go back to being an ordinary person. That is my ambition.
Aren't you down here to convince us? Tell us why we should have it. You're f***ing cowards! Talk to us! Cowards!
I just urge those people to grow up. Grow up.
Just to be an ordinary person and just live an ordinary life. Can I thank you all? I'll drive in.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Premier. Thank you, Premier. Thank you.
In that package you've just seen, you saw footage from a small country town in WA, that's Manjimup, where Mark McGowan held a community meeting last year, about 16 months ago in fact, that didn't include community, as he spruiked his mandate strategy to local government councils and compliant big businesses to make life hard for those that were pushing back. Now, it would be remiss of me in this stream to end without making comment on this. For Mark McGowan to say,
I'm going to go back to being an ordinary person. That is my ambition, just to be an ordinary person and just live an ordinary life.
At a time when stagnant wage growth and economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic is still being felt, and the cost of living as it increases across the nation, it's crippling to the ordinary person. Consider this. Mark McGowan, via the WA taxpayer-funded pension scheme, will never have to work another day in his life, and there is 250,000 reasons for that. In fact, when you factor in CPI adjustments for inflation, Mark McGowan will get $274,867 every day for the rest of his life. McGowan's rich man's world, money, money, money for him. McGowan's taxpayer-funded pension is akin to the slap in the face to West Australians. Seeing the Premier retire on such a generous pension scheme while many are struggling to make ends meet will create, and understandably so, a sense of resentment. Of course, mainstream media are not going to touch on this. History shows that back in 2000-2001, Mark McGowan argued tooth and nail for his ability to remain in this pension scheme, whilst in the same breath he supported changes in the pension scheme that saw other West Australian politicians, except Michelle Roberts and Alana McTiernan, remain in the lucrative superannuation gravy train scheme. When you consider the average male, same age as Mark McGowan, according to the ABS 2019 data, has a median superannuation balance of $162,337, and for women, it's $109,639. In order to have $274,867 per year superannuation drawdown, tax-free, based on the assumption of, say, 5% return, you would need to have a super balance of about $5.5 million. That's a lot of coin. Well, before Mark McGowan even promised his gold standard of transparency in 2017, and what he is now delivered, well-renowned gold standard of secrecy, way back in 2001, when the then Nationals MP Vince Catalana asked McGowan to name the other two eligible MPs that also were eligible for the same superannuation plan, Mark McGowan refused to answer. And he actually, in fact, said, quote, "I wouldn't do it for an employee of the state, and I'm not going to do it in relation to anybody else," said Mark McGowan. In an exchange, again with the WA Parliament, the Nationals opposition member Vince Catalano, he questioned Mark McGowan about the pension scheme, and he put this question to Mark McGowan. And he said, quote, "If we talk about being open, accountable and saving money for the state, do you think the old parliamentary pension scheme, which is very lucrative, should end for those members of parliament that are still on the old scheme?" End quote. And even ex-Labor Premier Alan Carpenter said this at the time, quote, "When people look back, they will find it incredible that a person," and to be clear here, he's talking about Mark McGowan, and I'll continue with the quote, "was able to be elected into parliament of this kind, which is a relatively small parliament in a relatively isolated part of the world, and after about 8 years be able to put himself in a position potentially where he will never have to work again." To end, I'll leave you with this. State budget papers show the parliamentary pension scheme costs West Australians $9.5 million in 2020, a cost expected to rise to $11.1 million in 2021. And it's anticipated that this scheme will cost the WA taxpayers north of $14 million in 2022-2023. And remember, Mark McGowan said that he's left the state of Western Australia in a much better position than when he took over as Premier. History will also show that the Mark McGowan government has resulted in state government laws being broken more than 1,000 times at a cost of hundreds of thousands of dollars to the WA taxpayer. All the while, Mark McGowan escaped accountability, citing parliamentary privilege. This stream has been a look at the telling signs of Mark McGowan and mainstream media would never dream of bringing you. Thank you to those that have commented and keep them coming in. If you feel the content in this stream is worthy of more attention, then you can play a key role in this by liking the stream and, more importantly, sharing this stream, because mainstream media will not bring you these insights. If you want to support this platform to do more, consider a small donation. You'll find the links in the post below. I'm Lindsay from Freedom Media WA. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Brought to you by Freedom Media WA, where journalism should never be a government narrative.